each member of the Cedars who has had the good fortune and intelligence to tune in to the Director Series. I'm Stan Friedland. Our videographer is Friedman, and we enjoy coming to you several times per month with people who are important to your life. And we have such a guest today in the person of Miss Allison Everson. She is our Director of Human Resources, a position directly related to my life and your life here at the Cedars. So let me introduce you to Allison Everson. Good day to you, Allison.
Hello, thank you for having me.
We would like to know about you so we can enjoy and appreciate you that much more. Give us a sense of where you're from, where you went to school, what you majored in, and what brought you to the Cedars.
All right, well, I'm originally from Wisconsin, and we're mostly raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. I went to school at Chapel Hill, UNC Chapel Hill. I majored in political science, Spanish, and history. Really, I was pre-law at the time, and I chose not to go to law school at that time because the recession was strong, and a lot of my friends were not graduating from law school with jobs. So took some time off, and during that process I found human resources.
Now you've been with us quite a while, so give us a sense of what brought you to the Cedars and what you've done in the 10 years or thereabouts that you've been with us. Give us that sense.
So when I was in school at UNC, I actually worked in the dining department here as wait staff. That was in 2009, and left the Cedars when I started working full-time in human resources with Aramark. I worked for Aramark for 3 years as an HR assistant, and then moved to UNC Chapel Hill where I worked as an HR specialist. And when I was at UNC in HR, I heard that the Cedars was looking for an HR generalist, and I just could not contain myself. I had to apply because I'd worked here before. I knew it was a great place to work, and I was delighted to get the job.
Thank you, Allison. The significant thing Allison said to me was that she is in love with human resources, HR being the short-term derivation of human resources, and is doing that for us now. When did you become Director of Human Resources and you knew you had big shoes to follow in the person of Lisa Williams? When did you become HR? And tell us about that apprenticeship with the greatness of Lisa.
Yeah, so I started here at the Cedars in 2014 as an HR generalist and worked under Lisa for 5 years, and she was a great mentor to me. Really just took me under her wing and wanted me to be the best HR professional that I could be, either at the Cedars or another company, but obviously I chose to stay here. So I, as the generalist, worked with employee training, employee recruitment. I did a lot with workers' compensation, with employee leaves of absences like FMLA, and really just a lot of employee programs in general. And I really enjoyed the work culture here of trying to retain talent, trying to make sure that we have the best employees here and that we make sure that they feel that they're valued here. I think that that's been a great foundation that both Lisa and then just the membership have created here at the Cedars.
So what Lisa's greatness has been that you had the pleasure of learning and apprenticing in the persona of someone very talented in human resources.
Yes.
You've given us an indication that the recruitment and hiring of every single person to come on staff goes through your portal, right?
Yes.
So when did you ascend to the office of Director of Human Resources?
I became the Director of Human Resources in November of 2019, so just a few short months ago.
Okay, so that is about half a year you've been with us.
Nice.
November 2019, that's 5 months ago. And in that time, what essentially has taken place in human resources that you can describe to us and give us a sense of what human resources does specifically?
So human resources does a whole lot of stuff behind the scenes. We do the onboarding process for all of our new hires. So our directors really do a lot of the recruitment of finding or interviewing, going through resumes, and then we do the process of onboarding, training, and making sure that we're keeping an environment that people want to stay and work in. And so we want to make sure that we do a great job of communication. We want to make sure that employees understand what's going on and the expectations around their work. We want to make sure that people are well trained and know how to do their job professionally and understand what the members are looking for, and then what we as Cedars or as a life care services community are looking for. We really want to make sure that we have fun here, so we do a lot of employee events that employees and their families can appreciate and enjoy. There's a lot on our docket. We want to make sure that we are being safe, so we do a significant amount of risk management, make sure both employee safety and then community safety is high on our list as well.
So underlying the quality of our Human Resources program historically, since we opened as a community, is something called culture of our community. And you heard Allison state all of the elements of the positive culture they aim for in maintaining staff. So we have, as records statistically, a 19% turnover, which is amongst the lowest of any life plan community in the United States. How do we maintain that again? Even if you're repeating what you just said, let's go, however, back to the hiring process itself. A position needs to be filled. Yes? Take us from that point forward, and then we'll get back into the culture. Take us through the sequence of steps needed to hire one single person. Allison will give us a particular title, position, and she'll take it from there.
All right, so say we need to hire a cook, then we'll work with the dining department. They'll let us know that they have an opening. At that point, HR will post the position. And
Where?
Then we'll post, and generally do that on our website internally, just in case we have talent within the organization that we don't know about. We also will post jobs on Indeed or other job sites that are more specialized. Like we have worked with Durham Tech, Culinary, different places that we know that we might be able to get applicants. And so we'll post those positions, and then we'll field the applications. So those come into our department. We'll send those to the hiring managers, those that would qualify for the job. And then the directors and managers, they do the initial interviews with staff or with applicants at that point. And then from there...
Everyone fills out a written application?
Yes.
Who applies, preceding the interview.
Yes.
So you get maybe for every job 10 applications or 20 or 30, whatever.
Yes, we get quite a few.
Okay, so you read them all, you select those into worthy of interviews, you bring them in, the director does the initial interview.
Yes.
So in this case would be Andrew or Brian.
Yes. So if we're
For a
doing a
cook
cook,
position.
then it would be Andrew or
And Rusty
Rusty.
Neff. Yeah, Russell Neff.
Yes.
Okay.
Or Priscilla, our dietitian. One of those
Then
three.
they give to you the best position, the best people in rank order?
So they'll let us know who they're interested in as a candidate, and then they will do a reference check on those two. We require 2 references to make sure that they're going to be someone that we're going to want to bring onto the team. And so they'll do those. We then review the information. We just ask questions, make sure that we are all in agreement that this person would be a good addition to the team. And then at that point, the hire gets approved, hopefully, given that
So let's say Rusty interviews 3 to 5 people. He sends to you the top 2 or 3.
So he'll send us the person that he's interested in hiring.
One person. And then you interview that individual.
So sometimes we'll talk with them, and then sometimes they'll submit their interview notes, that information, so we'll see exactly what qualifications they have and what answers they've given in interviews. So it depends on the role, but in a cook, in general, we would not interview them. Or we would not do a second interview for a cook.
Good. So then they're hired. The hiring process takes place, the negotiations take place, the salary is set, the conditions are set. Training.
Yes.
How does the training go?
So, and part of the hiring process too is we have a pre-hire step where we make sure people go through a drug test, through a background check, those things as well, to make sure that they are the best fit for our team. And so then that's another piece of the pre-hire process Training, we have new hire orientation for all of our new hires. They come, it's a full day training where they meet all of the directors. We talk about hospitality, we talk about what life is at the Cedars. We really try to give them a good perspective of what to expect whenever they come into member homes or whenever they're serving members in the dining room, or even as a cook, for example, someone who wouldn't interact with members often to still be able to understand what it means to work with the elderly.
Mm-hmm. And now they come for their first week. Give us a sense of who they apprentice with, who they shadow, how do they get into the act of cooking?
So we'll have new hire orientation. We also have departmental orientation. So each department runs their own training for how to bring that new hire up to speed. And it also depends on their level of experience that they come in with. Like if we're looking specifically at a cook, if someone worked at a similar community like ours, they might have a lot more understanding of how to jump in to the groove versus someone who might have come from a restaurant or might have come from, that don't have very little cook experience. That might take a bit more training and more apprenticeship, as you're referring to.
And then they begin to introduce and contribute their own expertise to the extent that they meet Russell Neff's standards.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time we receive a dish on a menu, we expect a certain taste. And that is either sustained or improved upon. Is that fair to say?
I would hope so, yes.
Good. Let's talk now about what we talked a little while ago, the culture of the Cedars. That is also in your area of jurisdiction and expertise. Give us a sense of how we maintain the culture of the Cedars.
I think one thing that we really focus on in terms of maintaining culture is to have strong leadership. When people have directors and managers that they know care about them and want to hear what they have to say, I think that makes a big difference in people's job satisfaction. So if they come to a job where they feel that they are valued, they're not just a number, but where they're going to go, if it's a housekeeper, they're going to go in this member's home and the member's going to really appreciate what they're providing for them that day. Or if it's having a strong manager or director that's really going to be able to invest time in helping that employee become the best that they can be. That is something that I think is intangible that we really want to have here at the Cedars. We also want to make sure that we have competitive benefits and pay and all of those things to make sure that we are a competitive employer and that we're getting the best employees that we can. But the culture is really a big piece that we focus on.
Allison, how do you know you're doing a good job?
I think a big piece is retention. Our turnover rate, that's a really key metric for us. But then also employee satisfaction, we really want to check in with employees regularly. We communicate with them regularly to make sure that we understand what drives them and that we are providing what is key for them to want to stay here. We don't want people to stay here just because they can't find another job. We want people to stay here because they love working here and they love serving the members. And so for me, hiring an employee that I know is strong, that's going to do a great job, and then also making sure that we're following up with employees and make sure that we retain the strong employees, ones that are in it for the right reasons, then those are ways that I know that we're progressing.
So when you receive a complaint, when a director receives a complaint about the work of a staff member, how is that processed?
So one of my roles, one of my jobs as the Director of Human Resources is to make sure that we have a strong leadership team. And I am really proud to be a part of the director team that we have here at the Cedars. It is a great group of people, strong leaders and kind leaders who really know how to coach people. That's also part of my role, though, is to train the directors and managers on how to lead performance management conversations. But they are really well trained. They know how to coach employees into a better outcome. So they'll just sit someone down and say, let them know what was not satisfactory about the service they provided or the interaction that they had with a member. Let them know what the challenge was, what needs to be done differently next time. And oftentimes it takes one conversation and the employee is able to progress and will not have that issue again. And then the directors and managers also know if that is a continual challenge, then that's a conversation that we'll start having to move along the process if we do need more of a performance improvement conversation.
Thank you, Allison. Tough question, great answer. So why is it important for each member to know what human resources do daily? Because our lives are impacted by the quality of people hired. Is that a fair assessment? Give us an idea of why your work relates directly to our satisfaction living here.
Yeah, that's one thing that we really press into at New Hire Orientation. We want employees to understand is how much them doing their job well contributes to the vision of the Cedars of Chapel Hill. Like, we want to make the Cedars the best place for people to live. We want to be the only retirement community that is sought after in Chapel Hill and Durham RTP. And so we all know, and we want every one of our employees to know that them doing their job well directly contributes to that. And that includes me, that includes everyone in the HR team. And so for us, making sure that we are working with directors, managers, and staff on fulfilling that goal and meeting that mission, that is really what's going to elevate us to the next level to be even better than we've been the day before.
Give us any comments, Allison, directly to our members that you would like to share with them about the work of Human Resources, or your greetings to each and every one of us. I'll leave that open to you now.
Well, first, a big thing is to say thank you to the members, because just like you said, culture is so important, and I feel the culture here as a caring environment that people are known, and I think that our employees feel the same way. I get that feedback a lot from employees, and I hear employees' concern for members a lot. If a member is going through something specific, because they know things about their members that they serve, because they care about them, and that goes both ways. I think members have the same exact relationship with employees, which is just, I've never worked in a workplace where that's a part of the culture, and so I so value that as an HR practitioner. And one thing I will say to that is I get a lot of questions from members about giving gifts to staff, if they're able to give gifts. And I just want to make sure that people understand the importance of not giving gifts to staff other than a food item that they can bring back to share with their coworkers, with their teammates. Really that is due to regulations, and then lots of other communities have that same policy. It's just make sure that provides safety for the member, it provides safety for the staff member, and really we just want to make sure that we protect the environment that we have, and giving gifts can make that complicated sometimes. And so we really just ask that you would not put staff in that position, even though that's not your intent at all in giving gifts. But if you do monetary gifts, the scholarship committee is amazing. The Employee Appreciation Fund is amazing. Those are great ways to be able to show your appreciation for employees. But that is one thing that I think I get a lot of questions about, and people get frustrated with, because they want to express their care for staff through a gift. And so I apologize for that, but that's one of the things that we want to do to make sure that we have a safe relationship with staff and members.
Now, I've had the pleasure of meeting Allison several years ago, and the reason why I maintain a strong contact with her, she walks around with a smile that is genuine, sincere, authentic, friendly in every way, shape, or form. So when you see now Allison Everson around the community, be sure to say hello to our wonderful and delightful new Director of Human Resources, Miss Allison Everson. Thank you for listening. We hope you've enjoyed the content, and we have enjoyed chatting with you, Allison. Best wishes. We know you help us so very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.